History is once again repeating for Bitcoin and altcoins. And the chart I'm going to show you in this video that helped us 1 month ago predict this Bitcoin pump we are seeing right now is flashing yet again a signal that could show us a massive move is imminent. And so it's got all to do with this chart and moving averages. It is so important yet so simple. Simplicity often wins in markets, guys. You'll be mind blown at analyzing this in a second. But I can tell you, after you finish watching this video, you'll have a great idea of where we could possibly move next based on history and what therefore that means for, of course, our altcoins. You'll overall just have a really good picture of what is to come. So without further ado, make sure if you find yourself enjoying this video or learning something new in particular to drop down there, hit that like button, make sure you are subscribed, and let's begin. The chart in question is on your screen, but we're going to dive into specifics in just 1 second because I want you to be able to add this to your own chart so you don't have to rely on people like me that tell you when we're bullish or we're bearish. I'm talking about influencers in general. I want you to be able to analyze the market yourself, helping you to become more independent and gain more conviction. Now, the outcome of the move I think that is about to come is highlighted here in these red arrows. The last time we had this move was back over here in October of 2024, causing the massive spike. The time before that happened back in October of 2023, so a year before that, causing Bitcoin to go from $20,000 to around $70,000. And it is about to signal yet again. So this is what was mentioned in the video I made about a month ago to today, actually, funnily enough, where we described the situation where this was likely, okay? Now, because we're talking about moving averages here, this is lagging indicators. So Trump could tweet something out tomorrow or the following week, or any host of things could happen in the macro markets, and it could change the game entirely. However, I am counting on Bitcoin doing a massive rally here, having a massive rally very soon, because Bitcoin is respecting these very important moving averages that make up this particular indicator. Now, this indicator I've called for a while now the bull run ribbon, because in my eyes, as long as this thing is bullish, I am bullish. Bitcoin, as far as I'm concerned, is in a bull run as long as price remains above the white line. Now, this white line here is one of 4 moving averages that make up this ribbon, and it's the longest. So it's the 1-year SMA. Now, what that means is it's a simple moving average. So you type in over here in indicators, simple, and you'll find moving average simple. And then you just add this to a 1-year time frame, so 365 days. Make sure this time frame is on 1 day, so it's always on 1 day, and there you have it. If Bitcoin breaks beneath this band, that is a pretty bad signal to me, right? And you can see before, Bitcoin was respecting it, like back here at the end of the previous cycle. Bitcoin was also respecting it even in those worse crashes, like massive 50% drawdowns. It respected this insanely important line. But when it finally broke beneath it and failed to break back above it, that is an immediate warning. The next warning sign here is when the 3 other moving averages come in. The yellow here is the 50-day moving average. The orange is the 100-day, and the red is the 200-day moving average. Now, again, they're all the same. They're all actually what's called EMA. So they're different to the SMA. If you type in here exponential, moving average exponential, what that means is in that time frame, it weights recent price more than older price. And so the warning sign when we're looking at these 3 shorter term moving averages here is when the 100-day moving average, so this orange line here, moves beneath the 200-day moving average. When that happens, you can see it actually happened over here. And actually, funnily enough, it happened at the exact same time. They both crossed beneath the 1 year as well. That is, in my opinion, the beginning of the end. It's the bear market. These two can get close. You can see it actually happened over here, but you can see it actually kissed pretty much. It didn't go beneath it. And that was on a 50% drawdown. So for me, we are green light for a bull run as long as the 100, so orange, does not go beneath the 200. And as you can see in the recent price action, the 100 in orange never really got close to the 200 here in red. But I want to take the conversation now to looking at what's possibly going to come. There's two major things that would signal to me this move that we can experience likely now or in the short term could be similar to the gains we saw over here from Bitcoin going from 61,000 to 108,000, and again Bitcoin going from 27,000 to more particularly 48,000, which then went on to do obviously much more from that point. So those things are, number one, the yellow line here, so the signal line, which is again the 50-day moving average, is getting very close to crossing above the 100-day moving average in orange. Now, what that is a preliminary signal for the golden cross. Many of us do know the golden cross signal here is when the 50-day SMA, so a bit of a longer term, more slow moving average, crosses above the 200-day SMA. Okay, when that happens, it causes this death and golden crosses in the inverse. And that's always been a pretty good signal for people because it just kind of says that price is changing direction, right? We're going from bearish now into bullish momentum. And throughout Bitcoin's history, as you can see from this chart here, okay, it's actually done that pretty accurately, to be honest with you. Golden cross here started the bull run, death cross, bearish momentum, golden cross, massive bullish push, death cross, bearish momentum, kind of already started before that point, of course. These are lagging indicators after all. And then we saw a bullish cross, okay? So a golden cross, and then we are now back into the death cross. So you kind of have to have the death cross before the golden cross, which is kind of like why way back in this video, I was saying how I almost want to see a death cross because that's, of course, going to eventually create a golden cross if the bull run is still on. And of course, we have respected these important moving averages. So of course, it is still on in my personal opinion. And I think price bouncing out of this downtrend has kind of proven that point. Anyway, what I'm looking for here is, again, the preliminary cross of the yellow line above the orange line, and then we will likely have, bullish momentum really come after that. The second major thing that's happening at the same time of this possible bullish golden cross is represented here by these purple triangles. Now, these purple triangles kind of represent when these moving averages begin in a very fanned out position. You can see here they're like really flared out, but then come into a point. Okay, so this point took about 8 months in the previous consolidation period before they really came to a point. And then what happened at that time as well, represented here by the green arrow, was the 50 moved above the 100, like I just mentioned, causing this massive blowout. And again, these moving averages fanned out once again. The same thing occurred back over here in, of course, 2023, where we had these, fanned out moving averages, and then they came into a point. We had, of course, at the blowout of that particular point, when they got really close to one another, we had the 50, again, the other line, going above the 100. So the orange line. So you can see that same pattern playing out over and over again. It's happened once, really successfully, twice, very successfully, and it's happening a third time now. So it's 2 for 2 going on 3 for 3. And again, considering that we haven't invalidated the bull run, all right, so the orange moving average didn't go beneath the red, and price never went beneath the white line, okay, in my opinion, this still screams bullish. Now, in particular, I think that we will cross here soon, again, preliminary golden cross. But I do think price is likely going to come back down and retest these moving averages before moving up, kind of like what happened over here, where again, we had the triangle point. We had these moving averages really condensing into a point, which pretty much means that price along these 3 different time frames was weighted equally, which is, again, a cause for a massive explosion. And so what happened here when it came into a point and it exploded, you can see price did try to come down, and it didn't really touch the 50-day, but of course it remained above it. But it would not surprise me if we did, again, come down to the 50-day moving average just to retest that in a healthy way before continuing up. It doesn't have to happen, of course. A much more explosive example of what I'm talking about here is, again, back in 2023 when we didn't get anywhere close to touching it before over here. And of course, depending on the consolidation move, it will, of course, blow through different levels of the moving averages. So you can see here it did respect at one point the 50, and then it moved beneath it, found support on the 100, went back above, used the 50 again for support before continuing the move. The same thing actually happened again back more recently here after this move in October to December of 2024, we actually respected the 50. So I expect us to do the same thing again once we have the initial move. You can see that we actually did find some support here and go up. But what really brought us down through the 50 and then through the 100 and then even through the 200 down to the 1 year was, of course, the tariff news. So what's the kind of move we can expect to happen here? Because as I said, what's about to likely happen is the same as this move and is the same as the move back here. Well, crazily enough, we kind of have some ideas. The last time the 50-day EMA crossed above the 100 EMA was back over here in October of 24. We saw a 64% gain in Bitcoin's price. Also, crazily enough, we saw the same 64% gain when this also crossed here as well, back in October of 2023. Okay, and actually, funnily enough, the retracement at this point was about 22% before going up yet again for a final push. Okay, and again, 64% gain recently. It wicked down here to about 18%, and then it came back up yet again to 21% gain. The move that we could possibly experience here might be like the 64% gains we have over there, but it also might have a 20% dip before moving higher. Now, I'm throwing numbers out there. I understand that I'm talking in theoreticals, hypotheticals, but it is important to note that the last 2 times this happened, we had the exact same result. So could it be 3 for 3? Well, let's wait and see. But so far, moving averages, respecting each other, everything's been working out just fine. Like, again, the exact same so far. Now, if we had a 61% gain, okay, roughly speaking, let's say they flirt. Let's say they flirt. The 50 and the 100, they don't cross, but they flirt up until here about, let's say, June. I think it'll be earlier, let's say June, all right, worst case. A 60% move from there will still put us in a position to break out of the ascending channel. This is important because a breakout of the ascending channel causes alt season. And I can show you this by toggling Bitcoin's dominance every single time. You can see here, Bitcoin goes parabolic, but alts actually eat up the dominance basically at that point in time. So alts got even more on average. Even though Bitcoin's gone parabolic, alts just do so much more damage in a good way, right? Same thing over here. Bitcoin goes parabolic, like 12 or 13 X's at this point. But again, alts eat up the dominance, eat up the market share. And I believe it'll happen once again. Even though we have the Bitcoin ETFs and we have everything else that the Bitcoin maxis will tell me this time is different, I disagree because so far the relationship is the exact same. It's the same song and dance as previous cycles. In uncertainty like this downtrend back here in October of 2023, what we saw was Bitcoin's dominance going up. Okay, but when Bitcoin broke out of that downtrend, we saw altcoins take charge. Okay, I actually can show you guys back over here. Altcoins took charge. You can see the market cap going up quite a lot at that point in time. And the dominance shows you Bitcoin went from 54% dominance down to 51% dominance. So it lost 3%. Uncertainty came about, Bitcoin's dominance went up again, and of course it continued up here. It was a bit of a weaker move. But then in this 8-month downtrend, okay, Bitcoin's dominance, you can see here, trended upwards until it broke out of the downtrend in which altcoins took charge. Altcoins took Bitcoin from 50%, or 60%, sorry, to 55%. In the uncertainty again over here, Bitcoin's dominance has again exploded. So we need Bitcoin to essentially take the charge first, push out, and alts will, of course, follow to finish the job, as the relationship has always shown us it does. Again, I'll show you quickly over here as well, in the previous ascending channel. And I want to make an important point. It kind of has to be in the ascending channel. I've noticed that it does really play out in this circumstance. You can see Bitcoin going up, it losing dominance. So altcoins did a better job. Okay, so back over here, this same sort of M pattern as we're experiencing now over here. Okay, and Bitcoin going down, so market uncertainty from the pandemic, Bitcoin dominance going up, trending up. Okay, Bitcoin going up here, Bitcoin's dominance going down. Okay, so again, basically, when Bitcoin pumps, it kicks off alts to go harder. When Bitcoin goes down, alts go very much so down. Okay, so it's the same pattern that has played out time and time again. It's the same pattern, guys. It's just taking longer this time around. So I believe there will be an alt season, and I believe that'll definitely come when Bitcoin breaks out of the channel. But I think regardless, we will get a third leg up here for alts, even if Bitcoin does stay in its ascending channel, okay, and we kick on in this channel for a little bit longer, okay? So just like we've had in the past. So that's what I'm looking for here, and if we break out of the channel, I think it'll be something more so like this. That sort of size gain, that's what we're waiting for here, rather than the slow poke ups and downs as Bitcoin trends within its channel. All in all, if you're also worried about the cycle itself, well, I think this chart speaks for itself. This is miner revenue. Miners tell us a story that we can't tell with price alone. It's the pool multiple, right? And you can see here, basically in this green circle, this is where we are right now. Okay, this is where we are right now in the previous two cycles. And I believe the cycles are lengthening. So you can see back over here from this particular point in the pool multiple, it was about 231 days for the high. In the previous cycle, it was 322 days. I believe this time it'll be around 350 days, maybe even a bit longer depending on macro news. And again, we've just started that now. So we have a lot more time. We have about, even a whole year possibly to still have this play out. So I need you guys to buckle up and understand that this is a marathon. It is not a race. I think whatever happens here in the short term, the moving averages are indicating there is bullish momentum. There is something to this move that we have seen 2 out of 2 times in the past. 100% track history. Like I said, any host of macro things could come up, good or bad, that could send it in either direction. But we don't know until that happens. Where no one's a fortune teller, no one can actually tell the future. All we can do is use the current data and hedge. Thank you all for watching. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.